Hello and welcome to Uncommonly Good MTG. I am your host, the belated, the awaited, the completely underestimated Dr. Yukon SuckIt. Yes, thank you so much, Yukon SuckIt. Word to your mother. So I'm coming to you today from my secret underground headquarters, and I'm bringing to you a deck of my own creation to a certain amount. But aren't we all creating decks that are to a certain amount of our own creation? So yeah, I call this thing IZZET Glory. IZZET Glory, and what it is an IZZET aggro deck. Last night I was thinking to myself, I was playing a mono red deck, and I just how are people winning so much with this thing? Because when I was playing with it, it was constantly just getting blocked, and then that would be it. Or your guys would get, picked off by somebody with direct damage or direct creature kill. And I'm just like, this is the suck. And I thought, when's the last time I had a really great creature deck? And I was thinking back to that Simic, that Simic deck, which was mostly just big, rampy green guys with blue bounce, right? And I thought, pretty much any creature heavy deck with a bit of blue bounce mixed in would be a rockin' situation. So I decided to mix in some blue bounce into the mono red aggro deck, making an IZZET aggro deck. So this doesn't really have a lot of the IZZET crap that we've been used to seeing, like Haughty Djinn, anything like that. It's just an aggro deck. It's pretty much just a red aggro deck, but yet we have some bouncing cards in here. So let's take a look at the cards that are in the deck. I'll kind of point out why, what it is that they're supposed to do, and then we'll take it out and see how well it works. At the low end, we've got Fading Hope. Fading Hope is one of the best cards in my opinion. It's going to be around forever, I imagine. If you take a look, you'll see that it gets printed about every fourth set, just to make sure it's always in rotation. It returns target creature to its owner hand, and if the mana value is 3 or less, you get to scry 1. It only costs you 1. And I really just care about returning target creature to its owner's hand. And it is great because you can use it offensively or defensively. Offensively, just get something out of your way so one of your guys can get through, or at least you buy yourself one more turn with whatever it is that was just on the battlefield. Defensively, it brings one of your guys back to your hand, so that way it can't be killed or exiled or whatever it is that they're trying to do to it. We got Kumano faces Kakkazan. So this guy exists in this deck because it turns out that he is a fantastic card in red aggro. If your first turn you put him out, he does 1 point of damage to your opponent. Number 2, next time you cast a creature spell, that thing gets a +1/+1 counter on it. And number 3, you get a hasty 2/2 creature. And so all of those are great in red aggro. All those things are fantastic. It seems kind of weird that you would wait until turn 3 to get a 2/2 hasty creature, but somehow this works. There's even something more where it says, if a creature dealt damage by this turn by a source you controlled would die, you exile it instead. And I'm not sure if that applies to just the turn that he comes into play or while he's out. I kind of get the impression it's just the turn he comes into play, but it doesn't say that, so I'm not exactly sure. But sometimes, you might kill somebody and they'll just go to exile, and that's the reason why. We have Play with Fire, which is a single red mana, does 2 points of damage to any target. If a player is dealt damage, this way you scry 1. So that's what's important about this card, is that it deals damage to any target, because with red aggro, you need to potentially do direct damage to your opponent's face. Sometimes the creatures don't do it, and you need to do it. Otherwise, you're going to use this to kind of get rid of those weak dudes that come out to block. Maybe it'll cause some problems. In the case of white life gain, you got those early mana or life gain engine dudes. They're all really, really cheap, and you could just blow them away with this stuff. March of the Swirling Mist. We only got 2 in here, but this card specifically can either win you a game, or keep you alive an extra turn. So what it is that you pay 1 and X, and then up to X target creatures phases out. So if you're about to attack, but they got a bunch of blockers, you could just phase them all out. And then you could just go in and attack nothing. So therefore, you don't have to worry about fighting. You can just deal all your damage to the opponent. And it's incredibly, incredibly cheap. What else? It also says that you can exile any number of blue cards from your hand, and that for each of those that you do exile, this spell costs 2 gray mana less. That's an additional 2 dudes that you can phase out. Now, on the flip side, if they're going to like wipe the board or something, you got a few guys out, you can use this to save every one of your guys. And if you play this at the right time, they'll phase out until the start of their controller's next turn. So if you phase them out during your opponent's turn, then they're also out during your turn, which means that you've got essentially like 2 turns essentially without them around. Because then on the third turn, on the next opponent's turn, is when they come back into play. Now they're back, so you have to make use of the time you get. Shivan Devastator. So this guy's in here because he's flying in haste, but he's 1 red and X, and he gets counters equal to the number of X you pump into him. So the great thing about this guy is that he is as good as whatever you can afford at the time you need to play him. You have to wait until at least 2 turn. You have 2 mana to play him, but if you happen to have 6 or 7 or 10 mana, this guy is way bigger, and he's got haste. So he's not going to be all sitting around waiting to get bounced or killed or anything. You just got to watch out for those instant spells, but for the most part, he's in here and he's got flying. So that's what he's in there for. Geistwave. So it's just like Fading Hope. Return target, but it's a non-land permanent to its owner hand. So whatever it is, an artifact or a planeswalker, even your own you can save if you need to. We only have creatures in here for the most part that we'd ever worry about. But yeah, this gives you a lot more flexibility on what you're capable of bouncing back. If you controlled that permanent, like you're using it to save one of your own guys, then you get to draw a card, which is fantastic. And if there's anything that this deck needs more of, it's a little bit more card draw. We could talk about that later, possibly. Bloodthirsty Adversary. So she is incredibly good. She's a 2/2 for 2 with haste. And pretty much that's probably what you're going to use her for. But if you happen to have 5 mana, then when she comes into play, you can pay the extra 3, in which case you get an additional +1/+1 counter on it. And you can find a instant or sorcery card in your graveyard that has a mana value of 3 or less. And well, guess what? Everything you got is 3 or less as far as instants or sorceries are concerned. At which point then you can play it from your graveyard for no mana. And then it's exiled after that, but still. Anyways, and so here you go. You got a 2/2 haste who potentially can maybe get you an additional lightning strike or something. But don't count on it. Just, you don't have the time in this game, just use her for a 2/2 hasty creature. Goro-Goro, also, he's a 2/2 for 2. He does not have anything natively, but if you happen to have a 3rd mana, all your creatures gain haste until the end of turn, which is all that any one creature in play needs, is just that first turn. Haste after that is useless for the most part. What's really nice is if you can get up to 5 mana, you can use Goro-Goro to create a 5/5 red spirit dragon token with flying. Activate only if you control an attacking modified creature. I guess you have to wait until the attack phase, apparently. Yeah, Goro-Goro has potential. Otherwise, you have a potentially hasty 2/2 creature. But there's only one of them in here just because I just couldn't resist. There was originally like 4 Bloodthirsty Adversaries, but I was looking at Goro-Goro thinking, Goro-Goro all the way. But Goro-Goro is legendary, so I can't have more than one out at a time. And Bloodthirsty Adversary is much more reliable. I mean, Goro-Goro isn't even hasty by default. All right, Lightning Strike. Probably the best special effect in Magic card in Arena right now is Lightning Strike. It's 2 mana for 3 points of damage to any target. And I love the art on this Ixalan version right there. Back when goblins look like albino monkeys. Look at that. So yeah, that's what I get. Reckless Stormseeker. 100% needs to be in every aggro red deck. It's a it costs you 3, and you get a 2/3. And at the beginning of your combat, target creature gets a +1/+0 and haste until the end of the turn, which means that on the turn it comes into play, it could be a 3/3 hasty creature. After that, it just gives haste to whoever happens to come into play. Most of you guys already have haste. The only person that doesn't would be like Goro-Goro. But, you know, this is really about hasty red creatures, right? Nice thing is that Reckless Stormseeker can wolf out into Stormcharged Slasher, which is 3/4. At the beginning of combat, target creature control gets +2 and trample and haste until the end of turn. So keep that in mind, because one thing that'd be great is, yeah, if Shivan Devastator, you know, needs to get in and they have flying, you can always pump that one, giving it trample and the extra points. But yeah, you can pass that around as is necessary to make sure you get the most amount of damage through. Thundering Raiju, he's your clutch guy because he comes in for 4, he's a 3/3, he's got haste. Okay, great, we're all right there. Whenever it attacks, you put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control, making that creature be modified, which helps out Goro-Goro, right? Then Thundering Raiju deals X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of modified creatures you control. So Shivan Devastator, by his very definition, is modified, but the rest of them are not. Bloodthirsty Adversary could, if you happen to have 5 mana to pay for her, but Thundering Raiju puts those +1/+1 counters on your other people. And itself, if you want it to be there. But it says, so it deals X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of modified creatures you control other than Thundering Raiju. So Thundering Raiju wants you to put those counters on other creatures, and that will increase the amount of damage that he deals at the beginning of the attack phase, not counting his actual damage. So this guy is a team player, which is hard. These two are both team players if you think about them. That's what makes them so great. Let's see, we've got Kamigawa Bounce is right there. We got 2 of them. And so, yeah, it's discard. So it return target artifact, creature, enchantment, or planeswalker to its owner's hand. Costs you 4. It is a super, super expensive bounce, but it can be a land, and therefore it's the dual function makes it in a really good position. Now, he doesn't take away from the rest of what this thing's capable of doing. And a lot of times, maybe you don't need the land. This is a very cheap deck. Well, now we got regular islands, we got regular mountains, and we got some duels of the semi-fast category. So the point is that get your dudes out, attack like crazy, save your lightning strikes and play with fires as much as you possibly can, because you might need to use them to finish off the player. Use your Fading Hope, your Geistwave, your Soaring City, and the March of the Swirling Mist to remove obstacles as much as possible, and or to save your guys from impending doom, because you don't need them to be gone. You need to keep them on the battlefield so they can continue to deal damage. All right, so that's it. Let's take this out and see how well it does. Our pen against SkRIP. We're going to keep it. Start playing out some reds. No creatures till 3, huh? No life gain engines for you, my friend. We are done. Yes, I know what you want to put out. Here he comes. All attack. Okay, so we can't really do anything about it, so I'll just go ahead and put this guy out at 3. 1, 2, 3. And no, we don't need it. This is perfectly fine. I'll attack. Alright, what can we trick people into at this point? Sure, let's do it. All attack. You can double up? No, you're just going to take the hits. Alright, we got him down to 8. We have 3 in our pocket. 6 showing. Got him down to 9. Chipping away, and he's chipping back. Yeah, whatever, flying, sure. It's not enough to kill him, so there's no point. Do I have enough to kill him? All attack. 2 attacks. Geistwave. Next. And less than 3. Lightning bolt to the face. Suck it! Victory! Alright, we're playing against allan.araza. Allan.araza. 1, 2, 3, 4. Where are cheap creatures? Keep. And the game has started. Next. Nothing to shoot quite yet. Fast attackers, my turn. Another red. Let's go for it. Bloodthirsty Adversary. All attack. Alright, so we got an Orzhov deck. I'm surprised it's not killing her right off the bat, but you know, do what they got to do. We got 3, which is going to get us one of these. And let's go ahead and give it aced. All attack. Sort of hang out there with 0 defense. Let's discard a card. Nice. Alright, Thundering Raiju. All attack. Let's kind of keep the pain away from Goro-Goro for a second. I'm going to discard a card. I didn't realize he's only at 5 life. We are doing really good. And in that case, I kind of should have kept playing with fire. All attack. I think he's about to give up. Oh, he's destroying 1 creature. Good for him. And we win. How does that go? Winner, winner, victory dinner. All right, again, MaxDachs. 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 1, 2, 3. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Kumano. In your face. Pose, 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 pose. All right, let's go for a blue. We got nothing better to do, right? And we're done. Might be a little bit too much of the bouncing there. All right, Kumano comes on out again, and I'll attack. Alright, so I gotta wait till next turn and then I gotta bounce it. Bouncing only costs 1. I could put out Shivan Devastator for 1. You'll get 2. I mean, bounce her now. Goro-Goro, sure. That sounds like fun. I'll attack. Take my 2. Got another guy. Let's put out Goro-Goro. I'm surprised we're not getting another land here, personally. And we're going to go ahead and fade some hope. Oh, they took the wrong one. Alright, let's just go into combat. This is what happens when you let stuff lay too long. Or you let the lands decide themselves. That was a big mistake on my part. I should have been paying attention. I should have bounced. No, I don't have the mana till then. Alright, here we go. Up your face. And next, I'll attack. Need 5 to get myself a dragon. In turn. He's got, what, 6 mana? He still can only get one of those 2 guys out. I would imagine he's probably going to put out our friend Sheoldred again. And that's how we win the game. My turn, and this is how we win it right here. Game. And that's the smell of victory. Or cheap cheese. Alright, playing against Rishe or just Rishe. Not sure. 1, 2, 3. We got a blue. Looks good. One of the best hands I've seen in a long time. Start with a Kumano. Right to the face. Alright, 2 matter is going to get us a, unfortunately, play with fire. Yeah, like we got, but you can't let those guys grow. They are a little bit over the top there. Alright, let's sweep this guy out of the way with a lightning strike. And send in Kumano for 2 points of damage. Lightning strike sends this guy in exile? Certainly does. That is nice. Really? Alright, looks like I gotta save myself. Gotta save my guy. Sure, I'll sacrifice somebody. Who are you talking about? Alright, somebody with a little bit of haste. That's you right there. Yep, I'll attack. Cinderella there. Alright, we're getting... Our tricks are running out. Here comes a creature kill. And they've got a creature, big one at that. Alright, so number 1 gets us into a Kumano. Number 2 gets us into a Goro-Goro. Hopefully we can pull another mana on the next turn. Need 2 more if we want to be able to get a dragon out of that deal. They should be dead by now. Not at 17. No blocks. +1/+1. That's cool. We can go with this. Let's see. All attacks. We're going to go... Hate having to go against... Let's do that. Alright, who are you going to choose to save? You're choosing to save Soaring. He's got some beef. All right, man. Make a choice. I have nothing good to pull apart. Yeah, I just got instance. Alright, so I got my Geistwave. We can play this other part after the fact. I can bounce back Super Dan there. And let's clear the board. Let's clear it a little bit. All in. Next. You gonna block there? Lifelink Potty Pants. And Kumano goes straight to the face. In turn. Okay, we got him back to 8. I got nothing in my hand. I just got what I got out there. Here comes Death Touch. Hopefully I'll get something cool like a creature shot or a bounce. I am dealing at this point 10 points of damage. He's got to choose whether he's going to try to go offensive. I wouldn't if I was him, but yeah, here he goes. He's going for it. He only can block with 1. What is it? Shivan. Okay. This is it for us. What I got here? 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm not going to do the math. No math. All attack. Put all the extra juice on the Shivan. And cross our fingers and hope for the best. And we win! No math! No math! Our playing against RC206. We got 2 mana. I'm good with it. It'd be nice to have a 3/3 Bloodthirsty Adversary on this turn. Touch the precious. I'm beginning to think that they put these guys out just to distract me. Alright, Bloodthirsty Adversary. All attack. Touch the precious. We need some mana. Oh, magic is easy when you get exactly what you asked for. 3 mana and another Kumano. 1 to the face. Next, all attack. Alright, now we gotta see if we can keep our dudes alive with a little fading hope action here. Yeah, that sounds really great. Let's go ahead and just fading hope like we said we would. And another one? Okay, I'm cool with that. Ooh, look who it's going to be. It's the 3/3 back again. Next, all attack. In turn. Alright. Got another fading hope. Unfortunately, when she comes out, she'll just be a 2/2. Man, I need another mana. Let's push this guy off, because I can't make a Shivan out of a reasonable one out of what I got. And I got the mana I'm looking for, though. Alright, let's go for Thundering Raiju. All attack. And we win! Victory! Alright, so here we are with what I'm currently calling IZZET Glory, and it certainly is. It's really IZZET aggro. And I gotta say, I really, really like this deck. You know, I think that, like I was saying before, that that my theory that any good monocolor deck that focuses on aggressive creatures could be nothing but enhanced by putting some blue bounce in there. And that's what this was all about. And I think it worked really well. I think I liked it better than just mono red aggro, because a lot of times you get overpowered. And, you know, there's some times when it's just too much and even the bounce can't help. But in case it's a couple of big dudes, those bounce cards are 100% what you need to be able to clear the board to let your guys through. So who was the real hero here? Who was the real hero? You know, okay, from a pure utility perspective, it was Kumano faces Kakkazan. It was, my loved was 1 point to the face. I love the fact that the next creature that came out got an additional, you know, +1/+1 counter on it. And then at the end, you got a 2/2 out of the deal with haste. So I thought that was fantastic. You know, because he's not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. But when you're playing aggro, this guy, every turn, is 100% exactly what you need. Point of damage, an extra point of whatever for a creature, and then you got a 2/2 hasty guy. I mean, sure, that's third turn, but that guy is definitely utilitarian in decks like this. Who else was great is this guy, Thundering Raiju. I mean, waiting for the 4 is hard. And man, I just ripped, I think, what do I have, 23 lands in here, something like that? Let's take a look. Okay, yeah, 23. And it felt like, man, it was tight trying to get to the Thundering Raiju. But once the Thundering Raiju came out, you know that the game was going to be over one way or the other. Either you were going to be killing everybody, or else you didn't have any more gas left in the tank, and you might as well just give up. The only thing that saves you in case you got the Thundering Raiju and you're still not doing anything great, it's the Fading Hope, Geistwave, and the Otawara Soaring City. Because those will bounce things out of the way. And actually, the number one thing that would help the best is March of the Swirling Mist. That's why it's in here. We didn't get a chance to use it today, but I've seen this thing work a great many times where you pay your 1 blue mana and you just pick, like, 3, let's say. If you can pay 4 to put this guy out, you can play this one for 4. And that way you just phase out 3 of their guys, which is usually their entire blockers, at which point then you got nothing but wide open ranges to come in and slit their throats. Fantastic. All right, so let's rate this deck. Number 1, is it competitive? And I think, yes, I think is as competitive as any of the tournament decks or the Platinum Mythic decks out there. I think it's that competitive. Number 2, is this deck fun? Yes, I think it's fun. I like the bouncing people's stuff back just because I know that they don't expect it, and in my own mind, they're going, oh no, my stuff is being bounced. I think that is super fun. So let's see. Number 3 would be, is it interesting? And there's nothing super new going on here. It's not necessarily a new combination of cards in a deck. I found it interesting just because I was messing around with an idea and I thought it came together fairly well. So, yeah, I'm not going to say it's super interesting as far as like having new cards or synergistic combos that you got to worry about playing. But it's a pretty decent deck. So ultimately, I'm just going to give this thing a straight A for being very competitive and fun. And, you know, I guess depending upon it's interesting if you feel like it. So not an A+, just a straight A. All right, so that is the deck. If you choose to play with this deck, I hope that you have as much fun and luck winning as I did. That's all for now. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. From all of us here in the underground secret headquarters of Uncommonly Good MTG, have a great day. In the words of my people, be excellent to each other and party on, dudes.